40 here. So like I said, you've already done this before. We did one of these on Thursday, I think. Multiple transformations. It's doing the transformations we've been doing. It's just doing two of them at once. And as we talked about earlier, it's very difficult for our brain to kind of comprehend that. So what we usually do is we break it up into steps as we do it. Now, I'm pretty sure if I were to give you, if I were just to give you this question, I'm pretty sure if I were to give you this one right here, the one that I'm highlighting, you'd be able to do it. Or you need like a really quick like refresher, but I think you could do this no problem. So where I want to add the challenge here is I want to know the coordinates for all of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up here with a total of 3 shapes. So we're going to draw a total. We're going to draw a total of 2 shapes. There'll be 3 in total, and we're going to have the coordinates for all of them. And so to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to do a really, really quick table here. So tables are a really nice way to kind of keep this organized as we do these multiples. So here we go. I'm going to put, so I'm making a little table here to the left. I'm going to put OG. I'm going to put, does anyone remember what this symbol is? This little dash symbol I'm drawing right here. Not quite. Amazon uses it. Prime. It's the prime symbol. Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm doing this one over here. This is something we haven't seen before. This is double prime, basically. And I'll explain what these mean in a second. So we have the original, we have prime, we have double prime. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the coordinates of all 7 of these coordinates. So I'm just going to really quickly in my table go A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So what we're going to do is we're going to, instead of just going and immediately drawing the shape, which is generally what we've been doing, we're going to start dealing with just the coordinates first and then draw it based on that stuff. That is a skill we need with this. Being able to draw it is great, but you're going to get asked questions about this and you're not going to be given a chart to work with. So it's really important we also understand the coordinate avenue of this as well. So if you, so I'll give you a second here just to draw your table, but so we're going to do the coordinates for our original shape. We're going to do the coordinates for our prime shape and our double prime shape, which I'll show you what those are in a second. So really quickly, we shouldn't need much refresher on this. I'm just going to quickly write in the coordinates for all of these shapes here. You know, we know that A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -6, and it's -1 on the X and Y. So I'll just quickly write that down. So I don't think we need much help with the original one. So I'm just gonna put those in there. -6, -1. If you have any questions about where I'm getting these, please let me know, because if you don't know this, it's going to get a heck of a lot more confusing. But otherwise, I'm assuming everyone here knows how to find the coordinates. The coordinates? Yeah. That's good. I hope. Sorry? No, I have this on no, I print out a booklet and I write it all in. So I'm not, no, I'm not. And then -6 and 4. -6 and -4. So I'll give you about 30 seconds here just to get those coordinates down. Again, I'm assuming you guys can find those coordinates of this shape. I'll put a red dot here for each of them. Okay. So what we have is we have our arrow and it has a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different coordinates in it, right? So where does this prime thing come into play? Where's this little dash up here that I keep talking about? This means prime, right? So don't write this down. Do not write this down. But this this is a multiple step transformation. It's going to want us to rotate it and translate it. It wants us to do both of these in one go. So we're going to split it up into two. It just makes it easier for our brain to handle. So I'm going to start with the rotations, and I'm calling this prime. So what that means is, again, don't write this down. I want to know where coordinate A. If I were to rotate this image, where would coordinate A be on this next quadrant? So what we say is hey, this is A prime. That just lets me know that, oh, you've taken coordinate A down here and you've moved it somewhere in this other quadrant. So when I say A prime, what that means is you took A, you rotated it, and this is its new home. So instead of writing A prime here, I'm going to write the coordinates of it. So first off, I'm rotating something clockwise. Now there's two rules with this, and we can always figure it out. We don't need to actually rotate it to be able to figure out the coordinates. Does anyone remember what those rules were? The rules when we rotate something 90 degrees clockwise. You're super close. You're super close. It does change to a new side, and specifically, it's going to change in this side over here, right? This is a 90-degree clockwise rotation. So it's ended up in this yellow quadrant here. First off, what's going to happen to my signs? Is my x going to be positive or negative for anything in this yellow zone? Is my x going to be positive or negative for anything in this yellow zone?
Negative or positive?
Yeah, so it's going to be a negative x and a positive y. So I've done one of the steps already, which is I figured out what my signs are going to be. So it doesn't matter what I put in there. It has to be a negative x. It has to be a positive y. So I've done step one. Now step two is I need to figure out what goes in my coordinates now. So what we have is all of these coordinates here are x and y, right? X comma y. What happens when you rotate something 90 degrees is they change places. So they change places. So now instead of it being a 6 and a 1, it's going to be a 1 and a 6. And then I just figure out my signs after, which we've already done. I've already figured out my signs, negative x plus y. So I switch my coordinates, and then I just apply the signs. So it's a negative 1 and a positive 6. And those are my new coordinates of A prime. So now I could go in there, negative 1, positive 6. And all of a sudden, I now have my new home of A prime there. You don't need to go and label those coordinates. That's okay. On the chart, as long as we have it in this table of values, that's okay. So then same thing, Aiden. So what would be B prime then? B. Sorry, I caught you while you're reading.
Minus 1.
Plus 4. Yeah. Yeah, I swapped the X and Y around, and then I just applied the appropriate signs. Yeah, so now I'm going to do is I'm just going to swap these signs, or I'm just going to swap these coordinates and apply the signs. You can do this as well, or you can follow along with what I'm doing. If you have any questions, again, please ask for clarification. But otherwise, I'm assuming we are good. And then negative 4 and 6. Okay. Oh yeah, happy birthday. Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Here's math. Okay, so what I've done is I've swapped my coordinates for everything prime here. Now you can draw this in if you want. Most people's brains work better when they draw the shape as they do it, because remember, whatever you have now, your new coordinates, you then need to apply a second transformation to it. We have rotated it, now it wants us to later translate it. So most people's brains work a little bit easier if they draw the actual diagram in. So I'm going to take all these coordinates, I'm gonna put them in here. So all I'm doing is I'm plotting these coordinates now in my prime zone here. And then all you do is connect the dots. And there's my arrow. So I have rotated my image properly. So that's a rule you're just gonna, like, you know, it's a level 30 math. It's just one of those things we're gonna have to memorize is you rotate it every 90 degrees, you have to swap those coordinates. And remember, if you are flipping something 180 degrees, you have to apply that rule twice. So it's just a rule you're just gonna have to memorize, really. Cool. So I have now done my prime shape right here. I've done my first step, which is I have rotated the shape. Now I need to do my second part, which is I need to translate this shape 4 units to the right and 3 units down. So 4 to the right, 3 down. So again, I don't want to instantly go to the shape. Before, what we did was we learned that, okay, I take this thing, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go, oh, I go 3 down. That was what we were doing before. You're not always going to have a picture to do that. So I want you to refrain from looking at your graph. We want to learn how to work the coordinates themselves. So if I'm going 4 to the right and 3 down, first off, if I go 4 to the right, what happens to -1? What's its new home? What happens to A prime?
Turns to positive.
Turns to the positive, right? It's -1 plus 4 is really what's happening here. -1 plus 4, I'm going to end up with a +3. And then 6, if it's going down 3, what's going to happen to 6? Is it going to increase or decrease? It's going to go down, yeah. So if I go 4 to the right and 3 down, my prime coordinate now turns to 3, 3. That's its new coordinate. It went 4 to the right, 3 down. Which is right, what was that? That was 3 and 3, so 1. So right here would be, we would call this A prime prime. So Austin, if I do that same rule here to B prime here, to -1 and 4, what would it be its new coordinates? If it goes 4 to the right and 3 down.
3 and 1.
3 and 1. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and so we just keep applying that exact same rule here to all of them. And I'm just going to power those through. Again, please let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so once you have all those coordinates, you could then quickly map them out. Because you're not always going to have, you're not always going to have a picture here to work with. In this case, you do. And you should get a new shape that kind of looks like this. So this would be your prime shape here. So the primary skill I really want you to take away from this is, I'm pretty sure if I just gave you the chart in those instructions, you could do it. The primary skill you need to take away from this, though, is you're going to be expected to be able to work with the coordinates themselves directly. Now, if you want to draw a coordinate plane and draw the shape, you can do that. It will take more time, but if that helps you, that's something you can do. They'll let you do that on like some scrap paper or something. But the people who make the exam are specifically expecting that you're going to be able to do this stuff on the left. These coordinates here is what they really want you to be able to focus on. So all this stuff in blue, they want you to be able to do it without that graph to the right. It's basically what's going to happen here. So that's why I wanted you to really focus on those coordinate aspects of it. It's not just about being able to draw the shape, draw the stuff. It's about being able to understand how it changes the coordinates of it. Oops. Okay. And then if you go to the next page, you can find all that information there. If you want like the full breakdown and the full solution. But I hope that makes a little bit more sense here. Okay. So what's going to happen now is everyone has that written down? Someone's saying no. Okay, so what's going to happen now is really like the rest of the booklet here is just it's applying just like 2 things or more the whole time. So I want to give you time to work on that, but I know we also have the bathroom tile project that we were working on as well. And as a quick reminder, that bathroom tile project, this thing here, that was where you were creating a bathroom tile that was made of 2 or more geometric shapes. It can be on canvas and painted. It can be just out on paper or a computer program. Either's fine. And you needed to be able to cover a 2 foot by 2 foot area. You have to have 2 colors, and you have to show 2 types of transformations within that. Everyone's done that already from what I've seen so far, so that's good. So you guys are well on your way to finishing up your tile. I know you've done it on paper. Now you're making the official tile on canvas. The only other things to consider is you have to do some research, right? We looked at what types of tiles are common in bathrooms. We wanted to get an idea of how much that would cost, to do a bathroom. I think, Aiden, you said the one here was 4.5 meters by 4.5? Oh, 4.5 feet, 4.5 feet. Yeah. Yeah. So you were doing like that wall. Was it the floor or wall? Was it the floor or it was the floor? Yeah. Yeah. So if you were doing the floor there, how much would it cost to tile a 4.5 feet by 4.5 feet thing? So there's just a little bit of research components here. And then what you also have to do separately is you have to show 3 different transformations of that same tile you've done. And you have 4 different ones to pick. You have dilation, rotation, reflection, and then of course, just translating it, moving it. And so when you're done, what you should have is you should have your tile to submit. You should have those 3 transformations on a separate piece of paper, just showing what it would look like. You should have a breakdown of the cost, your research, how much it would cost to do absolutely everything. And then it's the drawing on graph paper of the insert, which is what you've done. And then of course it's assessed on this stuff here. So what I'm going to do is for the rest of the day, you guys get time to 1, finish the bathroom tile project, and 2, just try and work yourself up to, I think it was question number, question number 8 was what I wanted you to try and get up to on page 249. So the rest of the day, you get time to do that. The breakdown of this topic is we only have 9 days left. 9 days left. Then you have your departmental. Then this course is done. So tomorrow, you will get a little bit more time to work on some of this stuff, and we'll be doing a concept check. So we'll be finishing up this unit tomorrow. There will be a concept check for it. Then we'll be working on unit 7, which is trig. That is probably the most difficult unit here. We might not get time to fully go into unit 8. We might not get time to go into unit 8, period. So if that's something you're worried about, that might be time for some self-study there. I'm happy to help out there as well, but just based on the time we have left, we may not get time for chapter 8, and that is owning a small business. Or not, at least not a full amount of time for it, because I want to give you guys at least 2 days here to be able to review. But yeah, we are on 9 days left. So if you're worried about like your grade, it's time to start studying, basically. Is there any questions? Hearing none, you get time to work up to page 249 and finish your bathroom project. And of course, if you have any questions, please let me know.